Hello and welcome back to JoeSchaeferFlyFishing.com. I'm Joe Schaefer. Today I'm going to show you my dry dropper setup that I use on many waters across the country, across Colorado. It's a great way to search for fish holding in different areas. It's a great still water setup for lakes and small little ponds and things like that for the kids. This setup covers several different parts of the water column, and as we go through this, I'll kind of show you the different options that you can do. So we'll start out with our leader to fly line connection, loop to loop connection here. We're going to put the loop of our leader over our fly line, come back through, and put the end of our leader through the loop on the fly line. Typically when I'm throwing dry flies, 9-foot leaders, these setups you can get away with 7.5-foot leaders, especially if you're putting kids on them and things like that. It's easier to throw a little bit smaller leader, but typically when I'm fishing dry dropper setups, and especially this one, dry dropper, I'll use a 9-foot leader. So we'll come to the end of our leader here, and we're going to attach a tippet section. Usually with this, I start off at 2 feet, and I'll go out from there. So 2 to 3 feet is usually good standard practice on the tippet length. So we'll put in a little surgeon's knot right here, attaching our leader to tippet connection. Do that knot. Cut our tag ends. We want to trim those pretty close. Then we attach our first fly. Our first fly is a big dry fly. This, especially this dry dropper setup, I tend to use bigger dry flies. You can do this with unweighted nymphs and even a caddis. There's so many different ways that you can do this, but I'm going to show you the standard way that I typically fish this. So big dry fly up top. This is a chubby Chernobyl. We'll attach that through the eyelet with a Duncan loop, clinch knot, whatever you prefer here. I have all these knots on the site that you can watch and learn on the different stuff. I want to trim that tag end. So that's our first fly. Next off, I start off with a section of tippet coming off my first fly here off the bend, and what I'll do is 2 to 3 feet to start out, but still water situations I'll go as long as 5-6 feet. Just depends on what you want to do. Bigger river situations where I know I have some deeper holes, I'll attach that at 4 or 5 feet below that to my first fly. But for demonstration purposes, I'll just shorten that up a little bit so you can see this a little better. And I'm just going to tie a little dropper loop here off of my uni knot or Duncan loop. We'll attach that to the bend of the hook. Trim the tag end right there, and we'll go to our first fly. First fly is usually my bigger, heavier fly. I like it to get down quick, and you see this is a size 16, and it's got a tungsten bead on it, so it'll get down quick. And we'll attach that. So basically that's our dry dropper setup right there. Then from that, we're going to attach another fly below that. In Colorado, we can fish 3 flies in tandem, so make sure you check your regulations on your local area waters where you fish across the country and across the world, so you know how many flies you can fish in tandem. Here we can fish 3. So I'm going to do another dropper loop, and I'm going to put that to the bend of the hook of the second fly here. We'll just attach that to the bend. trim the tag end. That's to our second fly. And then we'll go to our last fly in the chain here. I like to fish this a lot because you can fish, technically, if you have 3 weighted flies or however you want to set it up, you can fish top, middle, and bottom of the water column all at the same time. So it makes for a real effective presentation. Different things going on here. You can definitely do different things. You can put unweighted flies on here, weighted flies. This is just the standard setup. Get creative with it. I use many different types of dry dropper setups that work effectively. You just got to play with it, kind of find the ones that work best for your waters. So that was the last fly in the chain of 3. So to review here, we have our leader to tippet connection, or our leader to fly line connection, loop to loop, down to the end of our leader here, where we have our connection for the leader to tippet. Then we have 2 to 3 feet of tippet off of that to our first fly here. And our first fly is usually a bigger dry fly. Excuse me here for a second. I got twisted up a little bit. That's one thing with 3 flies. You will get some tangles. Typically not too bad, but this thicker line likes to bow. So we got that. We're down to our first fly, 2 to 3 feet right here. Then we go 2 to 3 feet down to our second fly. And then off that back tag end and off the bend of the hook here, that's 18 to 24 inches to our third fly in the chain. So that's the dry dropper setup. That's how it'll look right there. So we can fish all different parts of the water column at the same time. Thank you for watching JoeSchaeferFlyFishing.com. Thank you and have a great day.